What's going on, everybody? It is great to have you with me. The Minnesota Twins defeat the Oakland Athletics 3-0 in a classic pitchers duel. The Twins get their only 3 runs in the bottom half of the 8th inning with 2 men out with a Royce Lewis 3-run home run. 3-0 in a great pitchers duel. Oh, wait, this is a Vikings podcast, isn't it? The Minnesota Vikings squeak out a 3-0 win over the mediocre at best Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas. That's right. I said Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas because at the end of the day, this entire football game was so discombobulated, particularly on the offense. This game set the NFL back about 50 years. We should be celebrating a Vikings win. But alas, kind of like when we beat the Green Bay Packers earlier this year and then we lost Kirk Cousins. Yeah. How do you take a celebratory bow? How do you take a victory lap after watching that garbage? We'll talk about it here, but if you don't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, wipe your feet at the door, and we'll try to make some sense out of this monstrosity. The Minnesota Vikings get the W against the Raiders, and at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Not for long. And you're still in the playoffs. Barely. It's only because the conference is absolute garbage. But having said that, you've got 4 games to go, and you control your own destiny. You win out, you win this division, despite how terrible you have played. To quote the late, great Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Josh Dobbs and Kevin O'Connell. They are who we thought they were. But we'll get back to them shortly. First off, let's get some positivity out of the way. The defense was absolutely phenomenal today. No, they didn't pitch a shutout against Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, or Josh Allen. In 2023, where every rule is there to help the offense score points, you pitch a shutout on the road, you get massive props. Brian Flores absolutely needs to be paid as much, less $1 than what Kevin O'Connell is getting paid in order to keep him here. No, you don't stand in the man's way of getting a job in the NFL as a head coach. But short of that, the Vikings need to do everything in their power to keep this guy. Give him a lifetime contract. Give him as much money as you want. They don't have salary cap for coaches in the NFL, so give him whatever he wants. Ivan Pace better be defensive player of the week. Led the team in tackles. Got the interception to seal the game. Vikings forced 2 turnovers. Well, technically 3. They did recover the fumble at the end of the game when the Raiders decided to do the Stanford band play. Yes, the Vikings recovered that fumble. So officially on the stat sheet, they got 3, but they got 2 turnovers ostensibly that were meaningful. Josh Metellus with the forced fumble. He absolutely is a one-man wrecking crew in that secondary/linebacking core. And all throughout this game, despite the fact that the offense did absolutely nothing, this defense went back out there and stopped the Vegas Raiders from ever scoring a point. They're the only reasons they won this game. Greg Joseph, congratulations. You got the game-winning field goal. It goes down as a game-winning field goal in the 4th quarter. This defense is the better part of this team. I know you don't have Kirk Cousins, and up until today, for at least 1 quarter, you hadn't had Justin Jefferson. Give major props to Brian Flores and this defense. Josh Dobbs is who he is. He is a backup quarterback that has been on more teams in the NFL in the last 12 months than most players do in their entire career. And that's not all on Josh Dobbs. It's not really his fault. He is who he is. It was a great magic carpet ride for that Atlanta game and that New Orleans Saints first half, but it wasn't sustainable. And everybody in the world knew it wasn't sustainable. Kevin O'Connell, you tried to make the guy a pocket passer, knowing full well that that was an abject disaster waiting to happen, and you did it anyway. Josh Dobbs, I'm sorry. He's not even a good backup quarterback. He's a good backup quarterback if you've never seen him before, and he comes in off the bench to provide a spark when the team wasn't preparing for him and doesn't have a whole lot of film on him. He's the kind of quarterback where if your starter goes down for 2 or 3 games, you hope to go 500. And by the way, that's exactly what Josh Dobbs did, is he went 500, 2-2. Kevin O'Connell, you went all 2 weeks talking about how you were going to do your self-evaluations and do your reflections and look at tape and make sure that you didn't push Josh Dobbs in a situation to fail. Well, that's what you did here today. Now, I'm not letting Josh Dobbs off the hook. He got Justin Jefferson lit up. Who the heck knows if he's going to be playing against the Cincinnati Bengals next week? Josh, you hung him out to dry. You were airmailing almost as many passes as Josh Freeman did on that fateful Monday night game. You know, this game reminds me of the Josh Freeman Monday night football game as well as the Joe Webb playoff game. That's where this game goes. Now, somehow, some way, because of the Vikings defense, you won this game. But by and large, I don't ever want to see Josh Dobbs on the field again unless it is the absolute most emergency of all emergency situations. Again, nothing personal against the kid. He had a great journey, had a great couple of weeks, but like Linsanity, it's over, baby. It's over. Kevin O'Connell, What are you thinking? I had said, have you learned your lessons? Well, the answer is no. And I don't have an issue per se with you starting Josh Dobbs. I would have rather it be Jaron Hall because I'd rather see what we have in this kid as opposed to him being the unknown. But be that as it may, you made the choice to start Josh Dobbs. Fine. And after you saw a quarter and a half of this monstrosity, he should have been pulled at halftime. You could make the argument he should have been pulled after about 4 drives. But nevertheless, okay, fine. Change out your quarterback at halftime. Let your team know this is the direction we're going, and give the backup quarterback that you went into this game with, in this case, Nick Mullins, an opportunity to have more than a couple of drives. Now, Nick Mullins didn't set the world on fire, but he had more passing yards than Josh Dobbs did in just a handful of drives. Seriously? Kevin O'Connell, you've been far too loyal throughout your entire tenure here. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet, but you were too loyal to Ed Donoshel. You should have gotten rid of him after the Cowboys game. Well, yeah, you weren't going to get rid of him after that game because you had a game 4 days later against the Patriots, which you ultimately won in a nail biter, but you should have at least taken the play calling away from him, if not fired him. And you didn't do it until the end of the season when you lost the playoff game where your defense was absolutely putrid. Once again, Kevin O'Connell, Kirk Cousins ain't walking through that door. Fran Tarkenton is not walking through that door. Dante Culpepper is not walking through that door. You have what you have. And what you are doing right now to the other 53 members on this team, particularly those on defense, is absolutely shameful. It is gutless. It is pathetic. It is off the charts. And why you are continuing to do things the way you're doing when it is obvious that you need to make changes is beyond me. You got away with the victory. You're 7-6. You're still in the playoff spots. But guess what? Straighten up and fly right. Stop being loyal to players that aren't the best for the team. It is on you for beating the Vegas Raiders 3-0. And where do you go from here? Heck, I don't know. But for right now, Nick Mullins will be the starting quarterback come this Saturday against the Cincinnati Bengals, and most likely for the rest of the season unless he stinks up the joint. But even if he does, he probably might still get a longer leash than the rest of us would, because that's Kevin O'Connell. And don't get me wrong, I like Kevin O'Connell. I like the culture that he's established. I like the fact that he's not a tyrant. But at the same time, as I have said, you are the head coach of the team. You cannot be concerned about players' feelings getting hurt. You're the coach. You're not their friend. Kind of like I tell my daughter, I'm your father. I'm not your friend. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. What do the Vikings do from here? Despite the fact that they have 4 games left, control their own destiny, and can still win this division and still get to the playoffs, even if they don't win the division, I don't know what to make of this game. It's 3 hours of my life that I'll never get back. Would have been better off watching paint dry or sorting my socks. Thank you kindly, as always, for joining me. And for now, SKOL, to the next episode. Go crazy, punch a higher floor.